they have their own.
I forgot my hearing aids.
Unbelievable.
Right out the door.
Joe forgets his in his drawer.
Have to drive side by side.
24/7, so I need to
Why don't you put a little sign on the outside, the radar going outside? You know, when I mow the grass, I don't know.
That sounds like a military job.
Business over there?
I have customers. It took me 45 minutes.
Sad to
go
say,
through
but we
security.
probably have to end our break. But once again, congratulations to everybody who helped make the Olympiad so wonderful, and particularly tonight to the original Olympiad members. We appreciate you more than you know. We will move on now to the town manager's communication. Ms. Stuman.
Yes. So we have officially began dredging again. We started last week hydraulically. We're doing it in the river channel right now, and as we work our way towards the winter when it's less busy and then eventually get to the drawdown, we'll be doing some mechanical dredging in Firefly Cove. So we're glad to get that started back up. Diving operations for the drain valve installation are complete. Thanks for bearing with us as that work got done down at the dam. Morgan Corporation is still working below the dam, and we are still on track to finish the drain valve installation project this fall. So we're on track for that one. At the work session meeting, we chose Odom Engineering to complete the Morris Park improvement plans. I met with Mr. Odom today to discuss this, and they plan to start soon and have that design done by the end of this year. After that, we will go out for bids for construction. We're also working with Odom Engineering for workforce housing conceptual site plan. He's been in the process of working on this, and we spoke about this a little bit today as well. He'll be presenting a draft plan the 28th at our work session, and then he hopes to have the complete plan done by the end of this month, or I'm sorry, within a month. We completed our on-site lead service line inventory. This is something that was mandated by the federal government, and we got funding for it. We got it done, and there was only one line containing lead that we found. I wanted to thank first responders for their work during our busy season, especially with the 4th of July and the Olympiad that took place this weekend. I know they stay busy with that. Some upcoming events between now and the next meeting is, of course, we have the farmers market each Friday from 4 to 7 o'clock. We will have the Rutherford County Bookmobile in Morris Park on August 29th. And then there's the Vintage Vibes Weekend, September 6th through 8th. And that concludes it. My full report is in the packet, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to contact me at any time.
Thank you very much. And once again, I'd just like to say how privileged we are to have Miss Sylvia Stuman as our town manager. She has done just such an incredible job ever since she's been here, and we appreciate her very much.
Thank you.
We will move on then to our council liaison reports. Commissioner Doster.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. We'll start with ABC. ABC board met. Year-to-date, their revenue has increased 15% since they moved to that new building. Not sure how much that had to do with it. I know they've done a lot of cost cutting and a lot of belt tightening, so they've done a really nice job over there. Everything's pretty normal. Go by and see them. They're still doing tastings. Keep your eyes out. You can't advertise tastings on social media, so if you go by the store, make sure you look in the window. There's usually a flyer or something in there. I think, Barbara, you're even going by. The Planning and Zoning Committee board meeting took place. Quick note, there will be an empty seat come the end of the year. We have a board member rolling off. So we want to make sure that all you guys know, if you know are interested or know anyone who is interested, please turn in an application to Elba, and she will get you into the queue. Also, there was the meeting where the board did approve a subdivision that's going in above Rumbling Bald. On their part of the review, it still has to go into the other phases. There is a little bit of a hiccup with access, I guess, easement, but that's between them and someone else. But the board did approve those guys. And I believe, man, that's all I have.
All right, thank you
Yeah,
very
that'll
much.
do.
Move on to Commissioner Diorio.
Thank you, Mayor. The Lake Advisory Board did meet. First thing to note, and I know Carl's over there, he's getting something to drink, but I'd like to thank the police force. They're shooting to get on the lake 1 hour every shift. Is that been consistent? So every shift, the police boat should be out there running around for about an hour, which is really helping out, because that's a continual presence through the whole day instead of just loading up on the weekends. And we appreciate that effort to get out there when you can, but the thing that's surprising coming from our police is that this year in particular, several warnings have been going out, but I don't think we've had a summons in over a month, which means people are adhering to the lake use regulations. Now, whether that's a matter of the licensing or just paying attention, and seems like it's been very calm out there. And we noted that ever since the holiday period early in the summer. So it's working. What they're still focused on are the non-motorized, people coming in from out of town, which has had a great impact in the entire region. A lot of people are excited to come and enjoy Lake Lure that they didn't have access before because we took away the permitting. But with that came the problem of making sure they would adhere to the rules, particularly staying close to the shore. Now, the police department put out 29 warnings for non-motorized. The reports that we're getting back is that every time they stop someone, they're very receptive, very, very polite, and not a problem. They just go to where they should be, and it's a non-issue. You haven't had to give out any citations. So people are learning. It's gonna take a little bit more learning to get it out there. But the percentage of people that are doing that are straying into the middle of the lake, seems to be getting less and less, and is a very low percentage of the overall number of people. Hundreds, thousands of people now using the lake. So the percentage of people that don't adhere to the rules is relatively small. We're gonna stay focused on that, give them, get the information to them the best way we can, and to provide other places where non-motorized can enter the lake, for instance, with this temporary ramp that we have here behind Morris Park, to keep them out of the navigation channel going into the main marina. So there's some things that we're gonna work on, but the reports have been very positive. For the Board of Adjustments, Lake Structures Advisory Board, normal business, nothing of note. With one exception, we have 2 vacancies now coming up for that board. If you know someone, and it's a very important board, it's a statutory board, they have legal authorities. If you know someone that may want to serve on the BOA or LSIB, have them fill out an application or let me know, and we'll get them up there for review. And that's subject to your questions. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much.
Park and
Commissioner
Rec.
Proctor.
Park and Rec met last week, had another long discussion on updating the comprehensive plan, the chapter that is pertinent to the Parks and Rec. Had a lot of discussion on what to put in a potential survey to send out to all property owners, and we're continuing to work on that. There were over 140 volunteer hours, mostly trail cleanup. That does not include the Flowering Bridge and volunteers at the Olympiad, which would more than probably double or triple that. So anyway, we always welcome volunteers, and we're gonna have a report about the Olympiad pretty soon.
Perfect.
Anyway, that happened after the meeting, but
After
Yeah,
that.
gotcha.
There you
Gotcha.
go.
Great.
We'll wait for that one. Thank you so much. And lastly, I would like to say that Patrick, Commissioner Bryant is going to be the council liaison to the short-term rental board, which, as you know, is now chartered. We are in the process of accepting applications for that, and I think they will be, the last time we will be accepting applications is before our working meeting, correct?
Yes.
And so probably at our September regular town council meeting, then we will make the selection of the members. And so and Olivia will actually give you an update. I may have stolen her thunder now, but this board, of course, we've had lots of response, which is very good, because this is, as we know, something that has a lot of impact on all of us. Many many people financially as if they have short-term rentals, you know, but for the rest of us who live here, all of us just wanting to make sure that everything runs smoothly. So we've gotten a good response to it. Of course, some of the people, there are more people who have applied than there are seats on the board, and I would like to say that for some of those people, if you've decided, you know, if you don't happen to be on the short-term rental board, please consider being on one of the other boards, because we always need good people to be on the boards. I continue to say our advisory boards are sort of the backbone of this town and the community. That's the way we hear from the people who live in the community what people's opinions are. So thank you for that. And Patrick, thank you for agreeing to serve as the council liaison.
Pleasure to be of service, yes, ma'am.
That is our last board member. We will move on now to our public comments. If you've not, I have 3 signatures here. If you've not signed up, because the sign-up sheet was already up here, you're certainly welcome to speak after these 3 people finish. If you'll just come to the podium and state your name and your address, and each person, of course, is allotted 3 minutes. So the first person who signed up is Barbara Searcy. And the little hourglass is your,
Well, they said I could only speak once, but I said I said several names. Can I just put different names and speak through them?
no,
Okay. Number one, first thing I came here to talk about today was, I know we have ordinances for noise and we have ordinances for construction. There's an enormous amount of construction going up on Schumont, which is straight up above my lake house. So all the sound, and my neighbors can assure you that the sound is constant, because they were stupid enough to buy a lot with all rock on it, so they're breaking up all the rock. So all day long, it's like firecrackers going off, very intense, and it doesn't stop. So we have an ordinance about construction, so I think what I would like for us to think about, I've researched it a little bit today, and there is equipment and walls that you can put to cut down on the sound, but they're way up above me, so it's shocking that I can hear it as clearly as we do. So that's one thing that I think we should address as more houses go up and more go up on the mountains. And because we pay a good price to live here, and I shouldn't have to, what Mike had to listen to me yesterday, and he said, well, it's just during the day. I said, well, I work in my yard during the day. So that's something I'd like for y'all to address, is maybe think about, and there's all kind of equipment that we can look at that maybe we can encourage if it's that kind of building site. So Mike has informed me they think they've only got another week or 2. So that was number one. Number 2, I have been dealing with an interesting lady that moved in from Chicago in our neighborhood, and this has been going on for about 2 years. We had some warrants taken out about 1.5 years ago. They got lost in the shuffle because the town said that the county needed to serve them. Well, here I am 2 years later. I've got a summons that's supposed to have been served. It went out on the 14th of July, and it is now August 13th, right? And when I called, the county said, no, the town has to do it. Same thing that Quagmire got into 2 years ago. No, we don't serve them, the town does. I called the town. Town said, we don't serve them, the county does. So this summons has been sitting somewhere, and so I was supposed to go to court on Friday because she tried to kind of attack me after I got out of the hospital and for 3 days with the spinal thing. So I could have been attacked and killed by now, but I think what we have to identify, where is the flaw in that procedure? Now, I feel comfortable saying this to you because I was a very high-paid consultant in local government, and our job was to figure out what's not happening in the way it should, and this is not working, okay?
thank you.
Now, third thing, since you can't serve the summons, now this is gonna be funny, but we got in trouble because our pontoon boat sat at a friend's house, and it about drove my son crazy. So my joke is, if y'all are watching our pontoon boats, where we park them, I'd like to know that, because if I decide to have 3 affairs with 3 guys on the lake, I'm hoping y'all aren't taking pictures. So that plays into the police. If they can't serve the summons, why are they watching my pontoon boat? Thank you, it was fun.
Thank you, thank you. And we will certainly look into that. William, you may know the answer on that.
County serves process.
County serves.
Yeah, that's why you just, I'll look into it. I gotta call the county attorney about something else tomorrow.
I talked to him today and I got the guy's name and he said
we will figure it out and get back to you, okay? All right, Debbie Warren?
Debbie Warren, 138 Yacht Island Drive. Purpose today is just to say thank you to the town and all of our volunteers for the Lake Lure Olympiad and the 20th anniversary. 20 years ago, you saw some of the guys that were up here and ladies, and they had 35 events in those early days, and we are down to 6. So us youngsters can keep up, okay? So we're down to 6, and this is my 4th year, and we had a wonderful turnout. We had 1,050 participants in the 5 events this past weekend. We had over 111 volunteers. Now, you think about our population, we're what, 1,500? Like, what's our year-round population?
13.
Yeah,
1,300. And 111 people out of that number helped our visitors have a really good time. And so I can't say enough about, it takes a village to run this event, and we probably had 2,500 visitors. I know some people were staying at B&Bs and hotels and people's houses. People were like renting rooms at people's houses, and I wanted to do some special shout outs. The Lake Lure Fire, Lake Lure Police, Chimney Rock Fire, Bills Creek Fire, and Fairfield Mountains Fire are essential to the safety of this event, and we couldn't do it without them, and we're so eternally grateful. Rutherford County EMS and the Sheriff's Department popped in there for a while. Fairfield Mountains Chapel, the library, Lake Lure Baptist, the Episcopal Church, and many individuals made peanut butter and jelly and pimento cheese sandwiches and cookies, and people love the homemade goods. I'd like to take a minute to thank our sponsors, Carolina Foothills Foundation, the Rumbling Bald community, which we couldn't do the triathlon without that partnership, and they're wonderful. Rutherford County TDA, RHI Legacy, Ingalls, Lake House, Lestrada, Lake Lure Inn in the Highlands, and Chimney Rock Management and Chimney Rock State Park. So we had a wonderful time, and the people are so appreciative. And I hope that we have a lot more money to give this year. So that's our goal, is to give to our nonprofits and help our community be the special place that it is. So anyway, thank you so much.
And thank you for all
Thank you,
your part.
Debbie,
Thank you
for what
very
you
much.
did.
And Pat Beatty knows the way to the podium.
Pat Beatty, Memorial Highway. Just want to ask some dredging questions first. In the mid-2013, 15 era, the town, I think the town around that time stated that the town owned the lake and the cost of dredging would be theirs. And this was told to me by somebody that was on that committee, including the cove. So are the coves still in the thought of dredging? The silt that runs down?
Coves.
The coves that are,
She's saying, is the town gonna dredge the
Yeah.
coves?
so is that in the process with the grant money or whatever?
Yeah, so we are gonna do Firefly Cove this winter, and
Okay.
then I know there's other coves that we need to take a look at.
Right,
That might be more down the road, but
okay,
yes, they are included in the overall plan.
okay. Are we ever gonna use tax dollars for dredging, or will it always be grant money?
It is tax dollars, because we have to supplement the
Oh,
the
okay.
state
We have to match the
appropriation,
grant.
I'll match that. Okay. And all the streams that run
Pat,
into,
getting back to the
Mhm.
coves, is there a navigation in one of the coves that you know of in particular?
um,
Because we're not gonna be dredging personal properties like underneath boathouses. If there's a navigation issue, that's what we're focused on now at that end of the lake.
well, the one I'm thinking about, it originates from the Highlands. And back then, I don't know how much oversight was given there, because there were a lot of problems there. So all that silt comes down, there's a pond up there somewhere, but it comes down, it's eating away the bank, and the sand that's stuck in somebody's first dock is incredible.
Yeah.
Now, they did some stuff to it to keep it from running around so they could get out. But I don't, it's not in the middle of the lake, I don't,
Yeah,
cove there, I'd have to
yeah,
look.
yeah.
So, they just don't think it's their responsibility, and so they stay upset. But, anyway, the other thing is, I remember back in Highlands, everything was 2 acres there, and most of the 2 acres was on a slope where you couldn't build, just all the trees got cut. So when you look at the variances back in that day, for slopes, are variances today the same as they were then stated, that if the slope's a certain angle, you can't build on them? Or how is that done?
Mike, you want to address that?
You can build, technically you can build on just about anything with enough engineering, with the right protection. I mean, there are limitations of places that were never built on in the past in engineering, and enable people to build on. So there are requirements that limit it, but it's up to people to build it where you may not think it should be built, but they're doing it with an engineer design that will, that is designed to provide the protection for the land and for
Well, obviously, that didn't work in Tryon Bay, but is there any common sense to these variances? Can we put some common sense to them for the slopes? It used to be you couldn't build on parcels, now they're building on parcels. Used to have, Jim, I don't remember what it was before 2 acres, an acre and something?
Every zone's different.
Okay.
That's something to bring up to zoning planning board, and not necessarily here.
Well, that's got a lot of people aggravated. All right, when you go from, not necessarily town council, but in 5-year, 10-year increments, and this group in the early 2000s, they make variances and ordinances for whatever reason. The next group comes in. With the employee change, does anybody ever go back and look at that to have some continuity in the variances or in the ordinances? Or are new things just brought up and then we forget about the old, what was done?
You know, I think when the things are brought up at zoning and planning, then they take into consideration what previous ordinance
Okay.
has been. And
Absolutely.
they sort of incorporate that. If they need to change them, they will.
Okay,
But they're not just overridden by writing a new variance.
okay. I just didn't know the answer to that to give them.
Yeah,
That's
it's
all.
not just, oh, well, this looks good, let's do this, and not worry about what it was. It's
Right.
typically bettering what was there, or maybe just saying there's nothing else we can do. That's as
Yeah.
good as it'll get, and that's a great one, let's leave it alone. So,
Well, I would hope you would go back and look at slopes, because the condos will
Yeah.
be coming.
I got you.
Those of us who have parcels know we get
Yep.
letters all the time,
And Mike
so.
is kinda shaking
you
his
know,
head.
And I don't care about engineering, I care about the slope and the beauty of living here,
Yep,
so.
I hear you.
Thank you.
I'm with you. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? That's only the 3 who signed up. Is there anyone else who'd like to make a public comment? You're welcome to. If not, as always, we appreciate your comments and we're delighted that you're here. We'll move on then to the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion to accept the consent agenda as written?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda containing 3 items as listed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then the consent agenda is approved unanimously. There is no unfinished business. As said it before, we're extremely efficient. We leave nothing left over. So we'll just move on to our new business. The first item on our new business is an update on the short-term rental advisory board, which Ms. Stuman will give to us.
Yes, and you described it pretty well before. We've had a lot of interest in that board because it is a big aspect of our community. We've received 13 applications so far. And yeah, my recommendation, since we're continuing to get applications, is to review them at the August 28th work session meeting and then make appointments September 10th at their regular meeting. I don't know if you want to add anything as the
I
liaison.
would, yes, thank you so much, and I appreciate the opportunity to support our community as we start this new advisory board. As you know, in the last 2 years or so, we also started the Lake Lure Steering Committee, which is a little different board makeup. So this does fall under more of the traditional set of being able to apply and then be given consideration before voting. So as this board does begin its new venture, this will take some time. There are a lot of nuances. You have some full-time people who own properties here. You have a lot of folks that are part-time who have second homes and have offered them as STRs over the course of time, and we're talking 200 plus. And Buncombe, Henderson, communities, counties all over the region and the country face some of the same issues. Being a rural area, very different scenario. As this board begins its makeup, they will have to select officers, just as any other board. Some of the boards, like Parks and Recreation, with some 20-year veterans who have served on those boards, have a very long-standing history with those. So this will take some time and consideration, and comments are always appreciated. Once the board makeup is finished and comprised, we'll begin the real work and start on this new process to ensure we have a continuity of service both for full-time residents and for those who are coming to visit the town.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Look
Work in
forward to it.
progress and movement forward.
Just to remind everybody, there's one thing that this short-term rental board, advisory board will not be taken into consideration, and because this is by state law, okay? We will continue to have short-term rentals in Lake Lure. So I know, just to make everybody understand, that's not within the purview of this board, okay? We're trying to make it easier for us all to coexist well with short-term rentals. We'll move on then to item number 2, which is resolution number 24-08-13, accepting the Water AIA State Reserve Grant offer. Ms. Stuman.
Yes, we were verbally told that we were gonna receive this grant months ago. So we went ahead and passed or approved a Libertas to complete this contingent upon this offer, the actual official offer letter. So we finally received that. It's for $150,000. And it'll be used to complete our water AIA. We'll do some mapping. We'll know more about what we know what we have. We'll be more efficient in our system. So in order to accept this, we do need to pass a resolution.
All right.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 24-08-13, accepting state reserve grant offer of $150,000 for water infrastructure AIA.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Then resolution number 24-08-13, accepting Water AIA State Reserve Grant offer passes unanimously. We'll move on then to item C, request appeal to notice of violation, NOV, November 2024.
Yep, Mike Williams will.
Mike?
This is one of the, excuse me, this is one of those cases where it is a steep slope, and it is a difficult lot to build on, but it's a property of record, and it's a property that somebody owns and is invested in, and has chosen it to build their home on. And they've gone through the engineering, they've gone through the geotechnical, and even with all those things, as can happen, there were some problems that came up. And we've dealt with, the town has dealt with it. There were fines, there were stop work orders as they worked to get things taken care of. And as a matter of fact, you all heard from an earlier one, early on in this project, and they had asked for relief from some fines, and they were told to wait until the project was done for that. After that time, there was, as the job continued, they were working on a parking deck, parking area down below the road on Hawthorne. And as they were cutting in there, some of the banks started to give, so they ended up altering their plans somewhat. We saw it, we stopped it, we issued a violation, and as we are doing, we escalated the fines up considerably because of not as much because of what had been done, but what the potential was for damage to the road. We didn't know what it would be. We required a geotechnical engineering report to determine whether the road would be safe to work, to to continue to have traffic on and whether the job could continue safely. They got that report done. They did basically everything that was asked of to get that taken care of. There were fines of $4,000 that were imposed during that before we stopped the fines. And the property owner has requested relief from a portion of those fines. He's paid, I think he's paid,
4,000.
yeah, he's paid 4,000 of the
7,200.
72,000, thank you. And so it's essentially he's asking to be released from those remaining $3,200. We've been out there a lot, and the road did not fall.
Yeah, Mike, how many days have you and Rick been up there?
We've been out there.
Just in that ballpark.
Well, this goes back to June the 18th.
Yeah.
Is when it first happened.
Yeah, so how many days do you think?
We've been out there at least 4 times a week.
4 times a week?
Yeah.
For,
You know, just stopping by, just taking a look at it.
that
You know,
answers my question.
Our concern is the same thing that Pat's talking about. We don't wanna have a blight on the, on the face of Lake Lure. We don't wanna have properties sliding into the lake. And so we've really been diligent to be out there and work with them and monitor what was going on. And what we've found is, he's been very, very compliant. He's been responsive to everything we've done. There are still some issues out there that he's aware of, not on the portion where this fine was from, there on the upper next to the road, but down at the bottom. And he's still working on that. It's a tough lot. It got out of hand. He has been working it. It's a hard one to fix, but he has it controlled and has brought in additional people to work on it. So, I guess what I really need to do is just get quiet and let you deliberate on it, but I would, the staff has been out there. We have recognized the efforts that have been put into this. We recognize that he has paid a substantial amount of money on there, and it's been said before by this department, we're not out there, this is not a revenue generating exercise. We're not about the money, we're about compliance. And the compliance has been done. The reports that were given before, the engineering, the geotechnical, made it clear that there was, this project could be done. It was on paper, it would work. Something went wrong, sometimes they do, they've responded and have repaired and are handling it, are out there. The owner's actually been out there regularly, about as much as we are. So what we would leave it at is, community development feels that his request to satisfy the $8,000 of fines with the $4,000 paid and his continued efforts and the continued understanding that it's got to be maintained, he's got to control what's going on, and he seems to be doing that. Based on those things, we think it's a reasonable request. So I defer it over to y'all.
Discussion?
Yeah, so I have a different take on it, for these 2 reasons. First of all, Mr. Thompson, he's a repeat offender, right? So this is like the 2nd time in recent memory?
Yes,
Okay.
there were 2,
Yes.
but he's not on this job anymore.
Doesn't
Oh,
matter.
okay,
Yeah,
but he started,
But
all
it
right.
started.
So for two main reasons. One, we want to send a clear signal to developers. You've got to not only tell us what you're gonna do, you have to do what you say you're gonna do as a deterrence factor. That's one reason for the fine. Therefore, I don't think we should lessen the fine. The second reason is fair compensation for your time that town employees have put into that to repay the citizens of Lake Lure that employ you, okay? So it's a matter of practicality, that time invested should be recouped in some way, and I don't think that that's unreasonable. So my position, value everyone else's, my position is we hold the fines.
I agree.
These fines don't actually come to us, do they?
That's correct. And if it, and I don't know what the reasoning is on that, but I would think if it was coming to pay my salary,
Yeah.
I would probably be more generous with throwing out
So
fines.
that's, I think
Yeah.
that's kind of,
So it's not there.
Yeah, I
And
think
that's
that-
why I really come back to the compliance over the money. The money goes to school boards, and,
I think
and
this
that's a
goes,
good thing.
Okay, so it's paid back to the community at
Yeah.
large. Okay, that's
but it's the same issue, just
Same
like
concept.
Dave said. It's repeat offender, it's the same thing. It's the, here's what we're gonna do, but we don't do that. We do something else. We create a giant mess.
It's not really a repeat offender, it's a different property owner. He found that the contractor didn't do what he was supposed to and then hired a different contractor. So I think, is that not correct?
On this
So,
one.
on this particular
this one.
instance, so it seems to me that an incentive to do what this person did could be in line as well, because that's what we want. We want people that if they have a problem, to get back into compliance as soon as possible.
And we did
And
the
that's
same,
what this person did.
well, it kinda was the same thing on the Tryon base situation too.
Well, except,
Same guy he did the work, did it wrong. The
But-
contract, the builder, owner
right,
moved, got rid of him and got somebody else. And we're where we are and we
Right.
didn't, we did not let that one go.
well, I think that situation was different than this one in material.
I don't know. I mean, what I saw, what I heard, this was a pretty big mess over there. I mean, you guys were actually worried that the road was gonna collapse over
Yeah.
there.
But the road did collapse on the other.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, this one, I know Dustin was over there all the time looking at it, so.
We were out there a lot, because that's my job, to make sure that it is safe for the town. But my feeling, and I'm not an engineer, but my feeling was, there was nothing falling on the road. The road was stable. It was rock underneath most of it. We were watching it, nothing dropped. Nothing came off of that, even with the rains. It didn't come off. And that's why I made the recommendation that they be allowed to go back to work, because what we needed was them to go to work and fix what was there. Because in enough time, any cut slope is going to erode. As they came in, got it stabilized, built it up, put the wall in. There was a complaint made to OSHA that the work was not safe. I did not see that myself. That wasn't my opinion. And OSHA came out, met with Mr. Thompson, and said, you got everything you need, except you have one video you haven't watched, and you need to get a certificate for that. And so Mr. Thompson told me that he watched a video about laying oil pipes in the coastal regions. And watched that for 4 hours, got a certificate, and they said, okay, everything is good. So, sometimes things can get larger than they actually are, and I think this may be the case. That is not to say that we don't want to and we are not diligent to control what's going on, and control that people are not repeating the same mistakes, creating the same problems.
Again and again. Did, I noticed in the appeal of violation from June 18th, that it had 30 days to appeal in writing to the BOA. Because it's August the 13th now, did they appeal in writing to the BOA within 30 days of the date of notice that Mr. Carpenter sent out?
Yes.
Yeah, did it go before the board too?
No, it did not go,
Not
because
yet.
it comes before the town council.
Oh, they have to, okay, appeal and it comes straight to us.
Any other comments or questions?
Mr. Housley is here.
Well, if half of us are wanting to do nothing and half of us perhaps want to do something, I would propose perhaps doing away with $1,600, which is half of $3,200, and he pays another $1,600 in fines.
I can't hear.
Certainly.
He asked if he could address the board.
Yes, I'm sorry, I
Yes.
couldn't hear you.
Mhm.
Thank you. I was here a couple of months ago regarding a different violation. The board paused that violation because, as I explained that day, there was a town road drain that had overflowed and swamped the construction site. And the board was receptive to that, in that the drain had not been maintained. I had sent video and photographs of that happening. So I understand it's a repeat violation, but maybe not so much. What I would like to point out is we were working according to the filed plans for the permit. As we dug that slope, some of it came off, which was beyond the area of construction. That is technically a violation, I agree. Rick pointed it out to me. We didn't argue that point. 2 days after the stop work order, Rick sent me an email saying that he couldn't tell me what to do because he had reached out to OSHA and he was waiting to hear back from OSHA. That took about 4 days. I believe it was 5 days, actually. When I could not self-help, I could not go out there and fix anything because Rick had told me he was waiting to hear from OSHA. The day he heard from OSHA, we started getting the letter from the engineer that they requested and the other things that Rick had requested. That took me 3 or 4 days to get them in the satisfactory form that Rick wanted and the town wanted. What I was appealing tonight was I was being fined per diem when I couldn't help myself. So I was only asking for relief during the time when the town and Rick were waiting to hear from OSHA and I couldn't self-help. Once we got that information from OSHA, we started that day and we built that wall, and literally it's about 4 feet of the embankment that came off that was within the right-of-way. That was beyond the area of construction. It wasn't an intentional go out of bounds or anything like that. It really was in the course of construction. The town stopped us. We gave them what they asked for, and I'm only asking for relief for the days that we weren't able to do anything. It didn't seem fair to me that I get fined when I couldn't go out there and solve the problem. I understand being fined because we went out of bounds. I understand being fined while I was getting what the town requested, but I don't think it's right that I'm fined when I couldn't do that. That's my point.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for sharing that with
Yeah.
us. Thank you.
I'm a little confused. Are you the property, who?
I'm the property owner
Owner, yeah.
and the GC,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I've had land in town for 10 years.
I got you.
Paying taxes on vacant land. So as much as I appreciate, you don't want your staff running around, I'm a taxpayer.
Are you going back to Bill Thompson to try to recoup this fine money, or are you paying this?
No, it wasn't an egregious thing. He was
Okay.
digging and something came off.
Okay, so you're shouldering these fines? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't a fault. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
So Mike, this does seem to be a little different than the prior issue, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So I mean, it sounds to me like that. I'm getting a little more information here, and I can't say that I disagree that if he's being stopped and he can't even do anything and wants to but can't because of something that we did by going to OSHA and causing those delays, right?
Okay.
I think I kind of,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's a little different for me. And it goes back to, again, we gotta do what we say we're gonna do when we turn plans in, and we have to do what the plans say. And things can happen that are out of our control, their control. If we had water backing up over there and it was running down onto that lot, then, that's partially our fault as well. So, yeah, I'm good now.
Same. We're good.
Do I hear?
I'm in agreement, yes, so.
So in agreement with what I said, or agreement
Yeah,
with the whole?
with what your original
Okay.
proposal.
I make a motion to change the fines from $3,200 to $1,600.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And it passes unanimously.
Now, we have been implementing a appeal fee, and if it's overturned, you get refunded. Are y'all good with a half of that fee being refunded as well, or?
Just, I'm good with the whole thing being refunded.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you guys?
yeah, the whole,
The whole-
yeah, because he
yeah.
was successful on the.
Because to me, that was successful.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay?
All right, don't leave yet, because many times you're the next on the list too, so. We'll move on then to item D, request to extend lake structure condemnation order. NOV 2024022. Mr. Williams.
This is a, this is a project that's been going on for a long time, and you're familiar with it. There was a condemnation order that was finally made for the property. There's two issues. There's the house up above, and then there's the boathouse and the seawall that are, there's major issues with, structural issues with both. This is about the boathouse and the retaining wall. The decision was made to issue the condemnation. They're given 60 days to obtain permitting and repair the structure, and nothing was done that we know of. There was 90 days to go on and get it demolished, and there was nothing that was done that we know of. And I will say this, one of the issues that's a little bit different than this last one is communication. And we've had a lot of communication, and that makes a big, big difference. When you know what's going on, you know you're being told what's going to be done, you see it happen. And in this one, we just have not been able to get communication. And, super nice people, just very nice. But there's nothing agreeable when Rick has been talking with them. Yes, we're working on it, we want to do this, but we don't get anything back. We don't get any plans, we don't get anything back. And so at this point, they're asking, well, we saw a sale order, a sale advertisement for the property, and it included the boathouse, boathouse available with this sale. And that's a little bit concerning because the boathouse is not safe, and there's a condemnation order on it. So we called, and I wasn't on this call, but what Rick Carpenter had said was that they said, well, we are working on it. In fact, the engineer is over at the property right now. Rick got off the phone, ran over there, and there was a pest control guy over there, but there was nobody else there. That doesn't mean there was an engineer there, but we've never seen any plans. We've never gotten anything other than just, yes, we want to do it, we're going to do it, but nothing's come back. So the request now is a little bit more time, and we've had a lot of time on this.
So where did you see, you said you saw, it was for sale?
Yeah, it was online.
Okay, is there a sale, sign in the yard?
It's not a sign on the yard.
So obviously, if they're gonna sell that house, they have to disclose these things, right? That there is a condemnation order on the dock. Did the county condemn the house? Remember we talked about that? We condemned the house as well, right? So
No, I'm sorry, no.
we condemned the dock.
Yeah, no, the house is not.
They did not, okay, I thought that was something they were looking at about that.
They're still working on that.
Okay,
Or
so,
we think
okay.
they are.
I mean,
This is separate. It's
gotcha, okay. I mean, I see no reason.
we
to
just have no
extend it.
documentation. We don't
Yeah.
know what
Right.
is
Yeah, I mean,
going to happen. And
This has been like going
nothing
on
has happened.
forever, and,
Enough time.
yeah, I think it's just,
How does this play out, Mike? So if we do not extend, what happens from today? If we do not extend
We would go to William, and I think we'd be looking at an order to demolish the structure.
and we would have to demolish it?
And we place a lien against the property.
Yeah,
And
they
we
pay
place
for
a
it.
lien. We put a lien on that? Okay. That-
Just
so-
the boathouse though, not the house.
Yeah.
Right.
Then hopefully it does sell because that's when we get paid.
right, that would be to our
Yeah.
advantage, I guess.
And it may be they get the house done. I don't know. I mean, maybe Pollyannish, but if know that you're serious and the boathouse is gone, maybe the house will get done. I don't know. That's,
I think
it's not even fair for me to say that.
I started to say that's really not our issue.
Right.
You know, it's
It's their
that
issue.
dock sitting on this lake. I rode over there
Yeah.
Saturday. And, I just looked again and I was just like, okay, I remembered we were getting close and I saw the packet, so.
And the other thing I'm concerned about, there are other boathouses out there, okay? So we are starting, and this whole hard look at these boathouses, spurred on by the sewer system replacement, is gonna get even more tenuous as we move forward. We've gotta set the right tone, and we've got to be fair and equal to everybody that we approach. And so to start giving concessions now on the very first one, I think is a mistake.
I mean, the one right next door to it.
Right.
Looks like
Yeah,
it's as bad or worse.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
And based on the NOV, we're already past the point where they could repair or rebuild, and they have 9 days to demolish it. That's the
Right.
90-day from May 22nd. Precedent
And we have
to
no
David
plans, we
Dior's
have no
point.
permit, we really have
Yeah.
nothing, with no documentation.
Do I hear a motion?
Do you wanna hear from them?
Oh,
We're here.
Could you, we
Yeah,
can't
come
hear
on
you.
up,
Do you
come on
mind
up, yeah.
coming up here? We can't hear you from back there, sorry. Oh, God, I didn't know that. Problem walking.
I'm Allison Garner, and that's my husband, Timothy Garner. Our house burnt down in 2020, in February 2020, at the end, and then a week later, we were in COVID. So the town was shut down. We were unable to get permits to do anything for 7 months, I believe it was. At that time, we were not able to find anyone to do anything on the home for a year and a half to 2 years is what we were told. We went outside South Carolina, we went up in Asheville, we did numerous, and everyone was backed up. And of course, then they were further backed up due to COVID and such, and what they had to do. Then what we were able to do is my husband did owner builder to be able to get the burned home off the property because it was so horrible looking. That was done, and then the new home had begun. At that time, there was nothing with the boathouse, and actually, we have someone here to also testify that the boathouse is not as it's been told it is. But the build was done on the property. I started the superior walls, put the foundation in. And then the Tri-City Concrete did the monolithic pour. All of it separated. My husband's father built log homes up here, so that was what was submitted to rebuild, and we had every intention of moving here. I had major back surgery and that I'm totally fused. At that time, my husband came down from working there, and actually, it was May 18th of 2022, and he went up to the Walgreens that evening before dark to pick up medicine. I just got home from Duke, and he was struck on his motorcycle. He should be dead. He was thrown 100 yards and everything. And went into surgery. He had a leg. The next thing we know is a day later, and my sister drove me up there. I couldn't do anything. Well, from the 5 a.m. of the next day when you got out of surgery. Anyway, he had his leg amputated, and that wasn't authorized. It was done incorrectly at that, and Duke Reed did it with 2 different surgeons because the bone was cut incorrectly, the whole bone was infected, and it was nerves that were all exposed. So we just had another surgery this past December. I had both my feet operated on when I was in the rental home all through COVID for a whole year that we rented, not anticipating COVID at all. But anyway, okay, I just wanted to say that our home wasn't in any condemning whatsoever, but he will explain that our superior wall fell in with one of the trenches brains. Our road was repaved 3 times, the last in January, and the yaw of it's not correct. So the water came down, which caused it, but we had to get a engineer out, structural engineer, whom said, we finally were referred one, Kim Warner, who didn't tell us anything, charged us $750, of course, and then the next thing you know, he told us that he didn't want to have anything to do with the project, that our homemade wall was wrong. Well, we didn't homemade the wall. Superior Walls did this. And we are now being fined for the boathouses, the house that we're working without a permit, and yet we did not work without a permit, and land disturbance as well. No land was disturbed from the, okay, you want to explain all this from the wall, but we've done everything and.
First of all, thank you
Thank you very much.
for letting us, yes. And last time I was before you, I guess, was a little over 60 days ago. I don't know if you guys remember, and you gave me time to get whoever, whatever out there to get something done. We did so. We've hired a company called 58 Foundations, an engineer. Actually, there's been 5 engineers out there since I saw you last. Okay, Army Corps of Engineers for the water that's coming down in the seawall. We'll get to that. I'll make it real quick because I want to go home too. Also, the boathouse. There's an engineer who's actually working on a write-up for you on that right now to take away the parts that, one, make it a single level, do away with the upper level, take away the bridge, the steps that go up to the upper level, and the back part that's the homemade part that has the posts in the ground that are unsightly and 2 are not up to code. The rest of the boathouse would be back to its original condition, or build, I should say, not condition. And then, of course, some structural work will need to be done. Like I said, we got an engineer who's working on that. We have hired 58 Foundations. They do have the contract. We sent it to them. We had to get, I've done a lot since I've seen you guys. We've had the people come out for the survey to resurvey 3rd time, maybe 4th, because they keep taking the survey flags up, the neighbors. Anyway, we've had a tree fall since then. Now, a tree fell previous, and we got it up at our cost. It was the neighbor's tree, because no one would get it up, and it was in the cove, and we were gonna sell the place, because it was just overwhelming for us. So we thought, gosh, we'll give somebody something they can work with. So, we had another tree that's fell, a massive tree. Not a problem. Insurance is gonna help us a little bit on that one, not much. But, like I said, Army Corps of Engineers has given me a proposal that I can turn into you guys, and they said you can override everyone on it because of the situation that we have. One, we have a wall, seawall, that's been compromised where the water comes down between the 2 homes. The water has to get into the lake from the road. One way or another, it's gonna make it there. You know water's gonna find its way. So, the neighbor, before we bought the place, had encroached on our property about 10 foot with a concrete solid wall. Fine, we knew when we bought the place that was gonna be an issue. So, what's the fix? They said, the water, instead of trying to fight the water, work with the water. Make a dry riverbed down beside the driveway with riprap, all the way from the road, all the way down to the wall. Then where the wall's compromised about 5 feet, put a little riprap, hill for the water to hit and go through. That way the water can get in the lake, and there's a huge spot you could put a car in. So it's not like the water's gonna go over it. There's a huge area between the two homes that water can cesspool there and go out just the water. If there was anything that would travel, and it won't because it's riprap all the way. And then in front of the wall, instead of taking the wall out and replacing it, put riprap down through there. That way, it wouldn't require destroying the bank, destroying the wall.
So let
That's
me
all there.
interrupt for a second.
Go ahead, sure, go right
You-
ahead.
You put the house up for sale,
Mm-hmm.
but you're talking about extensive repairs to the property.
Well,
So-
yeah, but all of it's already been, that's another thing I mentioned to Rick. I don't think he mentioned it to you guys. We had already, like I said, we already hired 58 Foundations. They're gonna do, they've been hired. He knows that.
We
The
submitted the
engineers,
contract,
yeah,
to Rick,
yep.
that the.
I can't
that
make
was
'em go
signed
do
with
the work.
58 Foundation.
Right.
Mike?
Yep.
$10,489 was already.
Okay,
I mean, all we can go by is the fact that this is before us right now,
right,
and we were just told by the community development director
yep.
that nothing has been done.
No,
That
well,
you guys have
nothing
not
actually to
submitted
the
any-
property.
You have not
Oh,
submitted anything to us to tell us
Oh,
that
no,
that stuff's
no,
taking
No
that's-
place?
permits, but we
that-
have submitted
No,
all
I
the
mean, not,
information.
you don't need the permit. I'm
Right.
talking about, there's no engineering letters come to us, correct, Mike? There's no contractor letters come to us saying, hey, we're working on this, we're working with these folks, we're gonna get it fixed.
okay,
So none of that, those are the things that were part of the 5/22 council meeting that we had.
right.
Like,
Getting an
to-
engineer
to-
was a
to
task.
put us in the mode for you guys to
Sure.
giving you X amount of time to get it done.
Right,
Right?
yep.
We're there today, basically. That
Yep.
time has come.
Yep.
And in that amount of time, we've seen nothing, right?
Okay.
And you may have been in contact with these people. I'm not, and I'm certainly
Oh,
not trying to
absolutely,
give you,
daily.
I'm really not trying to give you a hard time or make you.
No, I
I
understand.
hope you understand.
Sure.
It's just the facts, what you're telling us is a lot of that stuff is horrible. I get it, it's terrible. But the fact is where we are today is what Michael has brought to us is sitting
Sure.
right here in front of us.
Sure.
And it was from May of 2022.
Okay,
And you had X amount of time to provide us with that stuff,
okay.
and it has not come. In
The
engineering
58
letters, any
right.
kind of anything.
They don't have the contract.
We have no way to
Where
know
we
that you're telling. I'm
hired
not
58
saying that
Foundations
you're not.
Listen
for
it
the
to-
house,
I-
right? And-
Rick Carpenter has the contract.
and he
with
has-
58 Foundation.
So does he, Mike?
Yes, he does. I have it in the email that I sent it to him, as well as he,
You have a
on the
lot of
phone
things,
with me,
actually.
said he wanted Miles with 58 Foundation, who's in charge of it, to contact him because he says that he has not come to get a permit. Now, we also had
So I
that he
guess
did get a
that's-
permit.
Wait a minute.
Again, we're still just not really getting anywhere.
And we couldn't get the permit for the boathouse without having an engineer stamp.
So-
That was the holdup
And
there.
I understand that. So
And-
here's the thing, we're at the stage now where you're asking for an extension.
Well, actually, just time to bring you some paperwork.
Again, you're asking for an extension,
The paperwork.
right? And before us is to approve or deny the request for an extension on this repair. Now, we've been going on for this has been going on longer than May, right,
Right.
Mike? This has been going on for a long time.
May I say that one thing happened with the wall, the house burned because of the neighbor's tree, falling on the power line. And the wall came down, that is Superior Wall, after the road was repaved.
Okay, again,
And
we
then
don't-
another
Sure,
tree
but
happened,
we-
and now a
We don't have to
third
have-
tree
yeah.
happened.
Sure.
We
Yeah,
don't have
we're-
to hash it.
That's how
let
Right.
me interrupt.
Wait a minute,
So,
wait a minute.
so what the town really, really, really needs is an engineer report that you guys have had 90 days to produce, and you haven't.
Right,
We
right.
did
Well,
what
Actually,
he said and got Kim
Well,
Warner.
yeah,
who
we hired
refused. And we paid for him.
But there's
I
no
paid
an
him.
engineer.
But we need, according to what we ask you guys to do.
Sure, and that put us back for a month right there, maybe 5
Well,
weeks.
well-
So we had to start again and get another engineer. We just said, okay, forget it. We hired a company that specializes in that. A national company, a reputable, and I give them an open line of credit. I told them whatever it takes.
But
They
see,
have
what-
an open line, $250,000 worth of credit to
Okay,
fix
so
this wall.
Before they build anything, we need an engineer saying.
Right,
that it's
that's who I'm talking about.
And
They
That,
have the engineer, the company has their engineer, is
But
what
we
I'm
have not
saying.
received any of that.
right, I
That's
do
what
not know why
Rick
not.
said, But according to the other gentleman, he said he had and gone to Rutherford County and that he could not get a permit because of something like Lure had on
But
it.
you sent the contract.
Back and forth, which is why Rick said, I gave him his cell phone number to also call as well. So he was given the gentleman's name with 58 Foundations. We've been dealing with it as well.
Right.
We're not trying to
No,
procrastinate. We've not done so. And
We
like
did
I
it,
said,
the
our
day
neighbors-
after I left here, I got
And
on it.
another one that we have
Wait,
now.
wait a minute. But the day I left here, I hired an engineer, Kim Warner. And that was
I
5,
payment, that I paid him, Kim Warner for $750, who came back and said that he did not wanna have anything to do with this, project and the homemade wall. And it's not, it's
wait,
fine.
wait. We can produce the paperwork you're asking for, I just don't have it with me because I'll have to pull it from all the engineers.
Thank you, William.
They say they don't have it, so I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So find
You wanna
it.
make a motion?
So,
Okay.
Hold on.
so you guys have obviously had a lot of trauma.
We've
And-
hired
well, let me-
several.
I've got
Go,
the floor,
I'm
I
sorry,
think.
yes, go ahead.
So, I propose we give a 60-day extension, but we expect.
That's amazing, that's more than I
Wait,
had.
Wait, hold on.
You need to listen.
Let us finish.
You guys are used to interrupting, but
No, no,
I have the floor.
no, I got you, I'm sorry.
60 days extension, it will never happen again.
That's all we need to do. We really appreciate
And,
it.
and, and,
Honest to God.
well, understand that if in 60 days we don't have what we need, then
I
we'll
do,
be
I know exactly what you're saying,
I
and
do know.
I was gonna ask for 2 weeks, but,
If I may say, honestly, we brought a gentleman all the way from, Stokesdale, North Carolina, who came up. We were also told. by
we
Rick
brought an
that-
engineer with us.
Okay, okay, that's fine.
But
But
here's
we-
what,
we
here's
need
what
to-
we're gonna do.
Listen-
Just like
listen to
Commissioner
this.
Proctor
Sure.
just said, here's here's how it's gonna work. You get a 60-day extension,
Yes, sir.
right? And at the end of that 60 days, if we don't have anything, now, if Mike is not satisfied, then we can sue with no further action.
Of course,
What that means is no counsel is necessary.
Right.
If 60 days is up, right?
Yep.
And then nothing is done.
Yep.
Then the town attorney can file suit
okay,
without our approval.
fair enough.
Giving the approval tonight.
I'm giving the we're giving
If
the
they
approval
not.
tonight.
Yes.
If it's not done, then it's
And the Army Corps of Engineers said that you have the power to do this, and I would like to know if you could do this for us.
All right,
Go
one
ahead.
second, we're gonna make a motion here, because
Okay.
we need to end this.
So I've made a motion with the addendum that
I'll second.
Scott's.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then it passes unanimously.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so
Yep.
very much. I'm very sorry.
I'll submit it to you, I guess, in, they said that you, as the council, have the power to override
So-
anything for the water coming off the road. Do the dry bed. If you don't like it, then do something else. What would you like me to do there?
You work with Mike.
You work with
Okay.
Mike.
Yeah,
We're
we're
done.
basically done.
We're done.
Okay,
You
well,
need a professional
thank you
check.
very much. I was gonna ask for 2 weeks to get you, I didn't know you didn't have any paperwork. I am not
Okay.
aware of
Okay.
this.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I
Thank
thank
you.
you very much.
Y'all be safe at home.
More than we asked.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm brain dead. All right.
I don't
We
know.
will then move on to new business E. I don't think that's you, so you're lucky.
Resolution 24-0813A, accepting lead service line funding offer. Ms. Stuman.
Yes, this is very similar to the water AIA. We were told a while back that we would be getting this. It's not a grant, it's a principal forgiveness loan. And this is for the lead service line that was mandated by the federal government. Like I said, we went ahead and got that done because we had to one way or another by October.
Okay.
So they officially sent us our offer. One thing to note in there that I don't think we were told originally in our verbal offer was that there is a closing cost of 2%.
20,000.
Yep, we don't plan to, it's for $1 million. We don't plan to spend over 300,000, so that closing cost will drop. Steve
Okay.
confirmed that with the state.
Okay.
But anyway, it had to be done one way or another, so here's our forgiveness loan, and they required a resolution to accept that. And then the next item will also be, along with this, they also wanted a capital project ordinance. So that's the
All right.
next one as well.
We will take those one at a time, then do I hear a motion on resolution number 24-0813A?
Madam Mayor, make a motion to approve resolution number 24-0813A, accepting lead service line LSL funding offer letter, Labella Task LSL inventory.
All right, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then resolution 24-0813A passes unanimously. We'll move on to capital project ordinance number 24-08-13 that Ms. Stuman had alluded to for lead service line inventory project. Is there anything you'd like to add to that, or if not, do I hear a motion?
We did put, under the section 4 with the revenues, we did just add in there that it's based on actual expenditures and not the full dollar amount.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to adopt capital project ordinance number 24-813 for lead service line inventory project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And capital project ordinance number 24-08-13 passes unanimously. And that concludes our open session. We will be going into closed session, and there won't be anything else after that, so I don't want you to sit with bated breath and wait for us to come back. Do I hear a motion to go into closed session?
Madam Mayor, we move to go into closed session in accordance with GS 143-318-11, TAC A6 for personnel matters, as well as GS 143-318-11A3 for attorney-client privilege or legal claims.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then we will retire to closed session. If y'all would like to take 5 minutes to get your brain back together.
I think I-